The rain fell in uneven drops against the rusted windows of the abandoned library, echoing like distant footsteps across the stone floor. Shadows twisted along the cracked walls, and outside, the world groaned with chaos, but inside, it was the silence between Freen and Becky that felt the loudest. They hadn't spoken since they returned from the near disaster in the tunnels. Since the kiss. Freen sat on a pile of old blankets near a broken shelf, her back against the wall, jaw clenched and shoulders rigid. Becky watched her from across the room, heart thudding, body still humming with the ghost of that moment, the way their lips had collided in panic, in desperation. But something real had flickered in that kiss, something more than fear. And Freen had been avoiding her ever since. Becky finally stood, her voice breaking the brittle silence. "You're not going to talk to me, are you?" Freen's hand tightened around the blade she'd been sharpening. "There's nothing to talk about." Becky crossed the space slowly, deliberately. "Then look me in the eye and say it meant nothing." Freen didn't move. Her voice was low. "You were scared. You didn't mean to." "That's not true." Becky stopped right in front of her. "I kissed you because I wanted to. Because I've wanted to for a long time." That made Freen look up, and the look in her eyes was anything but emotionless. Red flickered in her gaze, sharp and glowing. She looked haunted. Torn. Her voice was raw. "Don't say that." "Why not?" "Because you don't know what I am. What I've done. What I've let people do to me." Becky's breath hitched. "This is about Charlotte, isn't it?" Freen looked away, jaw trembling now. The silence that followed was thick with memories she hadn't let surface in years. "She treated me like a weapon. A secret. Something to use when she wanted to feel powerful," Freen whispered. "She'd bite me when she was angry. Kiss me when I bled. And I let her. Because part of me believed that's what love was." Becky's heart shattered. She lowered herself to her knees in front of Freen, reaching out slowly, giving her time to pull away. But Freen didn't. She just sat there, trembling like she was barely holding herself together. "I'm not her," Becky said softly. "And I would never treat you like that." "I don't know how to be touched without flinching." Freen's eyes finally met hers again. "I don't know how to let someone be gentle." Becky leaned in closer. "Then let me teach you." She moved slowly, deliberately, brushing her fingers along Freen's jaw, waiting. When Freen didn't stop her, she tilted her chin up and kissed her again, not with desperation, but with warmth. With care. With longing that didn't demand, just offered. Freen melted into it, lips parting against Becky's with a soft sound of surrender. Her hands found Becky's hips, hesitating only for a second before pulling her into her lap. Their bodies pressed close, the heat between them building like a slow-burning fire. Becky pulled back just slightly, their noses brushing. "Tell me to stop, and I will." Freen shook her head, breathless. "Don't. Please. Don't stop." Freen's fingers trembled slightly as they slid beneath the hem of Becky's shirt, resting on the warm skin of her waist. Her grip was hesitant, like she wasn't sure she deserved to touch her. Becky felt it, the fear under the fire, and reached down to cover Freen's hands with her own. "You're allowed to want this," Becky whispered, voice barely above a breath. "You're allowed to feel good." Freen swallowed, her throat bobbing with emotion. "I don't want to break you." "You won't." Becky leaned in, pressing a kiss to Freen's jaw, then her throat. "But I am going to undo you." That single sentence hit Freen like a punch, not from lust, but from something deeper. She inhaled sharply as Becky's lips moved down her neck, leaving soft, reverent kisses over old scars. She didn't flinch. Not once. Piece by piece, Becky helped her out of the armor she wore, not just the vest and gear, but the emotional cage she lived inside. Her fingers were steady, slow, asking for permission with every button, every layer. Freen let her. Her body trembled, but not from fear anymore. From finally being seen. When her shirt slipped off, revealing the faded bite marks and battle wounds across her chest and shoulders, Freen held her breath, waiting for Becky to look away. But Becky didn't flinch. She leaned in and kissed each one, like they were sacred. "You're beautiful," she whispered. "Even the broken parts." Freen exhaled, like she'd been holding it in for years. Then Becky's shirt came off, and Freen found herself speechless. She ran her fingertips across Becky's bare stomach, then higher, taking in the soft curves, the perfect skin. "You're unreal," she said quietly, and for the first time in a long time, her voice sounded in awe. Their mouths met again, messier this time. Hungry. Lips parted, tongues brushing, teeth grazing. Freen's hands found Becky's back, pulling her closer, pressing their bare skin together. Heat surged through them both. They laid down on the old mattress, Freen beneath Becky, her arms wrapped around her like a lifeline. Becky's lips traced a path down her collarbone, then across the tops of her breasts. "Tell me what you want," she murmured. Freen blinked up at her, breathing ragged. "You. Just. You." Becky smiled softly, her hands moving lower. Her fingers dipped beneath the waistband of Freen's pants, moving slow, giving her time to stop her. Freen didn't stop her. She let out a soft gasp as Becky touched her, gently, lovingly, her eyes fluttering shut as pleasure bloomed like fire beneath her skin. She arched, her body desperate for connection but too overwhelmed to move. Becky kissed her again, deeper this time, anchoring her as her fingers worked her slowly, perfectly. Freen's moans were soft, strained, like she didn't know how to let herself feel good, like she was afraid she wasn't allowed to. Becky whispered to her the entire time. "You're okay. You're safe. I've got you, baby." And Freen broke. Tears slid from her eyes as she came, her entire body tensing under Becky's. It wasn't just release, it was surrender. It was freedom. It was the first time she'd ever let someone love her without fear. Becky held her through it, kissing her cheeks, wiping her tears, never letting her go. "You're safe," she whispered again. "You're mine now." Freen nodded into her shoulder, voice hoarse. "I want to make you feel like that too. Let me." Becky guided her gently onto her back. "Then touch me," she said. "Show me how much you want me." Freen's moans were soft, strained, like she didn't know how to let herself feel good, like she was afraid she wasn't allowed to. Becky whispered to her the entire time. "You're okay. You're safe. I've got you, baby." And Freen broke. Tears slid from her eyes as she came, her entire body tensing under Becky's. It wasn't just release, it was surrender. It was freedom. It was the first time she'd ever let someone love her without fear. Becky held her through it, kissing her cheeks, wiping her tears, never letting her go. "You're safe," she whispered again. "You're mine now." Freen nodded into her shoulder, voice hoarse. "I want to make you feel like that too. Let me." Becky guided her gently onto her back. "Then touch me," she said. "Show me how much you want me." She was messy and eager, but also careful, responding to every sound Becky made, adjusting to her rhythm. Becky writhed beneath her, legs trembling, hands gripping the sheets. "Oh, fuck, Freen." When she came, it wasn't silent. It was shattering. She called Freen's name like it was the only thing anchoring her to reality. Freen kissed her way back up slowly, kissing her lips last, letting Becky taste herself, letting it be intimate, not shameful. They stayed like that for minutes, pressed together, tangled and breathless. "I didn't hurt you?" Freen asked softly. "No," Becky whispered, pulling her tighter. "You made me feel safe. Loved." Freen's voice cracked. "I don't know how to do this. I've only ever survived." Becky cupped her face, guiding her gaze to meet hers. "Then survive with me." Storm outside had calmed by the time they were wrapped together in a blanket, skin against skin, hearts slowly sinking. Freen's arms stayed around Becky like a second skin, her face buried in her neck. "I kept thinking. If I let you in, you'd see how ruined I am." "I've seen it," Becky said. "And I still chose you." Freen blinked hard, trying to stop the tears. But they came anyway. "You don't have to fight alone anymore," Becky added, her voice trembling too. "We can leave this nightmare behind, when it's over. Go somewhere warm. Quiet. Just us." Freen clung to her tighter, voice raw. "I want that. I want you. You have me." A silence settled over them, But it was warm this time, filled with trust, not tension. Then Freen whispered the most fragile words she'd ever said, "Please don't leave." Becky kissed her temple, her jaw, her shoulder. "Never.